Thousands of drivers wash their car after a long drive, then feel a shaking steering wheel and pulsating brake pedal. They're convinced their brake discs, or rotors as they're called in the US, warped from thermal shock. But in almost every case, what they're feeling isn't a warped rotor at all. It's uneven brake pad material transfer that creates thickness variations on the disc brake system's rotor surface. Carroll Smith, one of the most respected brake engineers in automotive history and an active Society of Automotive Engineers (SAE) member, spent over 40 years in professional racing. He developed braking systems for the legendary Shelby Ford GT40s, working on some of the most demanding brake applications ever built. Smith made a startling claim that he'd never seen a truly warped brake rotor. What he did see were countless rotors with pad material unevenly deposited on their surfaces, creating the exact symptoms drivers mistake for warping. When you press your brake pedal, you're starting one of the most demanding engineering processes in your entire vehicle. Your brake pads clamp down on cast iron rotors spinning at hundreds of revolutions per minute, converting your car's kinetic energy into heat. The numbers here are staggering. During a single braking event from just 55 miles per hour, your brakes generate enough energy to boil 2 liters of water in 3 seconds. For a heavy truck, that figure jumps to 53 liters in 4 seconds. Cast iron is perfectly suited for brake rotors. While steel might seem stronger, cast iron's thermal transfer characteristics are significantly superior. It efficiently carries the intense heat generated at the pad-to-rotor interface through the friction surfaces and into the internal cooling vanes of vented brake discs, where airflow dissipates it. During normal street driving, your brake rotors typically reach temperatures around 200 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Push them harder down a mountain pass, on a track day, or in stop-and-go traffic, and those temperatures can soar past 900 degrees. At these elevated temperatures, something critical happens to how your brakes function, and it's different from the brake fade phenomenon that occurs under extreme conditions. There are 2 distinct types of friction happening in your brake system, and understanding the difference explains everything about why your brakes might feel strange after washing your car. The first type is abrasive friction, the grinding, wearing action you might expect from brakes. In abrasive friction, the bonds between crystals in the pad material break permanently. The harder material wears away the softer one, hopefully with the rotor wearing down the pad rather than vice versa. Pads that rely primarily on abrasive friction have high wear rates and tend to fade dramatically at elevated temperatures. When these abrasive-type pads reach their temperature limit, they begin transferring pad material onto the rotor surface in a random, uneven pattern. This material pickup creates both the thickness variations technicians measure and the roughness or vibration drivers feel through the brake pedal and steering wheel. The second type is adherent friction, a more sophisticated process that dominates modern brake technology from manufacturers like Brembo and StopTech. When brake pads press against the rotor surface, some pad material transfers directly to the rotor, forming a thin, uniform layer. This transfer layer dramatically increases the coefficient of friction, making the brakes more effective while protecting both the pad and rotor from excessive wear. Once this transfer layer establishes itself properly, it acts as a protective barrier that prevents the grinding, powdering wear of abrasive friction. Your brakes become more grabby and last significantly longer. But here's the crucial part. This beneficial process only works when the material transfers evenly across the entire rotor surface. This brings us to the real culprit behind post-wash brake problems: pad imprinting. When you use your brakes hard coming down a steep grade, the heat buildup causes the resins in the brake pads to loosen and become more prone to transfer. If you then come to a complete stop at the bottom of that hill and hold the brake pedal down, you're pressing hot, softened pads against hot rotors in one specific location. The result is an imprint, literally a thick deposit of friction material in the exact shape and location where your brake pads contacted the rotor while stationary. This creates a high spot that causes an oscillating brake torque as the wheel rotates. Every time that thick spot passes under the brake pads, you feel it as steering wheel vibration and brake pedal pulsation. The sensitivity of this system is remarkable. As little as 4/10,000ths of an inch of thickness variation can be felt through the brake pedal, while 1/1000th of an inch becomes downright annoying. Once these deposits form, repeated braking just adds more material to the high spots, making the problem progressively worse. At extreme temperatures around 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit, something even more dramatic occurs. The cast iron structure of the brake rotor undergoes a metallurgical transformation. The surface changes its crystalline structure, with the outer layers transforming into a much harder phase called cementite, while the inner layers retain their softer structure. Under a microscope, these cementite crystals look like ulcers on the rotor surface. You can actually see this process happening. The first visual signs are clearly visible blue spots on the rotor surface. As overheating intensifies and the cementite crystals expand, the rotor geometry begins to change, resulting in runout and corresponding vibration. Eventually, the braking surfaces become covered with very dark spots, deposits of pad friction material that cause further overheating and more cementite formation. So where does washing your car fit into all this? The concern is thermal shock, the rapid cooling of a hot rotor with cold water potentially causing deformation. In theory, this sounds plausible. The reality is far different. For actual thermal shock damage to occur, the rotors would need to be extremely hot, and the contact with water would need to be intense and prolonged. Even during spirited driving, rotor temperatures rarely reach the levels where momentary contact with wash water would cause deformation. Car wash water isn't ice cold either. It's typically at least 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, hardly the extreme temperature differential needed for thermal shock. After you stop driving, brake rotors lose heat rapidly through natural air cooling. The water used during washing, even under pressure, doesn't cause the sudden extreme cooling that could affect the rotor structure. When automotive engineers tested this scenario with thermal cameras and controlled conditions, they found that true thermal shock damage requires much more extreme conditions than a typical car wash provides. However, there is a real risk with washing extremely hot rotors. When brake rotors reach red-hot temperatures, well beyond normal driving conditions, rapid cooling with water can cause stress cracking. But this requires rotor temperatures far exceeding what you'd encounter in normal, even aggressive street driving. The real issue with post-wash brake feel usually traces back to what happened before the washing, not during it. If you drove hard, generated significant brake heat, and then came to a stop with your foot on the brake pedal, you likely created pad imprints. The subsequent car wash might reveal this problem when the brakes cool down and you feel the thickness variations as you drive away. This is why proper brake bedding procedures are so critical for new brake components. Brake bedding is a controlled process that transfers an even layer of pad material onto the rotor surfaces under carefully managed heat and pressure conditions. Without proper bedding, you get random, uneven deposits that cause the exact vibration and pulsation problems drivers associate with warped rotors. The bedding process requires a specific sequence of moderate to firm stops from highway speeds down to about 10 miles per hour, without coming to a complete stop. This allows the pads and rotors to reach appropriate operating temperatures and establish an even transfer layer. Critically, you must avoid coming to a complete stop with hot brakes during this process, as this can cause the uneven material transfer you're trying to prevent. Professional brake technicians know that what looks like rotor thickness variation often isn't metal deformation at all, it's pad material deposits. These deposits can be so thin they're invisible to the naked eye, yet still cause significant pedal pulsation and steering wheel vibration. If you catch the problem early, you can often eliminate the shudder by rebedding the brakes. Find a safe area where you can make a series of hard slowdowns from 50 miles per hour to about 10 miles per hour without coming to a full stop. Doing this several times heats up the deposited material and helps redistribute it evenly across the rotor face. Then drive around without stopping much to let the brakes cool gradually. The key to preventing these problems isn't avoiding car washes after driving, it's managing how you use your brakes during and after hard driving. When you've been using your brakes heavily, avoid coming to a complete stop with your foot holding the brake pedal. Instead, use your parking brake or put the car in park while keeping your foot off the brake pedal. Let hot brakes cool naturally by driving at modest speeds for about 5 minutes after hard braking. This keeps the pads from sticking to hot rotors and prevents the concentrated heat buildup that causes material transfer problems. Modern brake technology has evolved significantly from the organic and semi-metallic pads of the past, which were more abrasive and severely temperature limited. Today's high-performance metallic and carbon-based pads utilize primarily adherent friction technology and remain stable over much higher temperature ranges. These advanced materials are less prone to the random material transfer that plagued earlier brake designs. Understanding rotor thickness variation, or DTV, helps explain why brake problems feel so dramatic. DTV occurs when different parts of the rotor vary in thickness, causing brake pads to oscillate back and forth as they encounter thicker and thinner sections. This creates brake torque variations and the characteristic pulsing sensation drivers feel. Professional brake specifications require thickness measurements at a minimum of 10 points around the rotor circumference, with no more than 0.03 millimeters variation between any measurements. Brake pad material deposits are often mistaken for DTV, but the solution is different, removing deposits versus replacing hardware. While Carroll Smith's research convincingly argues that true rotor warping is rare, the automotive community remains divided. Many experienced mechanics insist they've seen genuinely warped rotors, particularly on vehicles with thin economy-grade rotors or those subjected to extreme abuse. The truth likely lies somewhere in between. True warping can occur under extreme conditions, but the vast majority of warped rotor problems are actually material transfer issues. Some vehicles seem more susceptible to these problems than others. Sports cars with thin, lightweight rotors designed for weight savings may be more prone to actual thermal distortion. Conversely, heavy-duty trucks and performance vehicles with thick, well-vented discs rarely experience true warping, making material transfer the more likely culprit. The next time you experience brake vibration after washing your car following a spirited drive, remember that the problem probably started before you reached for the hose. Those hot stops at traffic lights, holding the brake pedal down while the rotors cool, create the material deposits that cause the symptoms you're feeling. Prevention remains the best cure. Drive thoughtfully, especially after hard braking. Let your brakes cool naturally, avoid prolonged stops with hot brakes, and understand that modern brake systems are remarkably robust when used properly. The interaction between physics, metallurgy, and driving technique creates these problems, and the same understanding provides the solutions. Your brake rotors probably aren't warped, but the material transfer patterns on their surfaces tell a story of heat, pressure, and the precise moments when friction turned from friend to foe. Understanding this story makes you not just a better driver, but someone who can keep their brakes performing optimally for years to come. Make sure you subscribe.